Scott, let me ask you this. Some would say in the rock genre that drums can be somewhat monodynamic, and obviously what you just played was not that. Monodynamic means the same dynamic all the way through, so we bang and we just slosh it out.
You're either playing or you're not.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're playing, it's loud. If you're not playing, you're just standing there.
One volume. Do you feel like sometimes that's appropriate?
Yeah.
Talk about dynamics in your playing. Especially as a drummer. It's specific to drummers.
Well, again, you're gonna notice, as Tim said this before, we're probably gonna keep anchoring on a few concepts that we're gonna keep coming back to these, and I don't remember what any of them are, but if you're listening to what's going on around you, it informs what you play. It just does. The first thing I wanted to listen to was this hook that Zach has come up with, which I've never heard this song played like this. So that caught my attention. I just thought, wow, that's a really nice take on this. It's taking me somewhere that I've never gone with this song before. So how do I come up with something that actually seems interesting to me? And sometimes you experiment with something and it ends up being a total disaster. Or you might not think it's a disaster, but Zach might have said, Scott, that just doesn't sound right to me. I hate the way that sounds, and this is not what I want to do. So then you think of something else. But for some reason, this is one of those songs that felt like it needs to kind of do this. Some songs need to start huge and pretty much stay there the whole song. You know, you might do a couple of dips and tucks, but most of the time you're just bashing away. This doesn't strike me as one of those songs. There's some nuance, there's some subtlety going on, and I want to make sure that whatever I'm playing doesn't get in the way of this neat harmonic piano thing that he's got going on, and then what Tim's doing to complement it. So I don't really know if that answered the question. This just doesn't strike me as this is the kind of song that has to do some of this.
Sometimes, like maybe, especially maybe with like a dronier song. When I say drone, I mean it's hanging on typically one low note for most of the song.
Like this.
There's a tradition of that, you know, in a lot of ethnic music, especially Celtic music, you know. But I think what makes a song like that interesting is having dynamics, you know, against that contrast of the steady, constant tone. You know, you can really do a lot, you know, with a song that has a low drone. I mean, that really lends itself, especially to dynamics, I think. So,
right.
Yeah.
And that was just that whole
Steve Gaddism kind of.
That's just one thing. I mean, you could take that that was almost country. You could just, if you want to just play it dumb, the whole second verse could just be. You know, it could totally be something else, or it could just be a four on the floor. Or you could play the groove real soft. You could just do that, and then at the last verse, it gets bigger. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you could approach that dynamically and still accomplish the same. Does that?
Absolutely. That's great, Scott.
Hey, man.
Yeah, so listening.